Hey, welcome back. This is another tutorial here. My name's Magic Slayer. We're going to tackle another Empyrion Galactic Survival creation here, and space sectors. It's probably the most complicated playfield that Empyrion has, and I'll explain why here. So let's go into the Empyrion Galactic Survival folder here. As you can see, back into Steam Apps Common, Empyrion Galactic Survival. Let's go to Content and Playfields, because we want the default playfields. And let's do Space Asteroid Field Ring Akua. This is the space sector around Akua. Probably the most familiar. So we already know what that looks like. We know about the big space ring around Akua. So let's see what it looks like in the playfield here. So in the actual YAML, we have gravity 0. Of course, it's space. Atmosphere enable, false. Again, don't change. It's space. Don't want atmosphere in space. That's bad. PvP is true. This course can be changed to false if you don't want people fighting each other. Use fixed true. Honestly, I wouldn't change this because space fields require fixed POIs. This says set if set uses fixed drones, and I'm not entirely sure if it just affects the drones or if it affects the POIs. But of course, experiment, because that's what it's all about. We have radiation 2.2. This of course can be changed. You can crank that way up. You can crank it way down. Temperature day. There's no temperature night because there's no night in space. We have negative 130. But of course, again, that can be changed to whatever. If you want a crazy off-the-wall space temperature, that's where you would change it. Music, space. You can change the music to whatever you want here. There's a selector in EPD. And you can use EPD to edit these files, which makes this easier, but it's still a lot more complicated than a planet file. So, playfield difficulty has impact on experience gains. Difficulty 2, you can change it between 2 to 5. Planet or space, of course this is space, don't change that. Planet type space, no functionality yet. They must be working on something like a different type of sector to have this in here, and hopefully it's the galaxy thing instead of just being limited to solar systems. So who knows there. Description: the space around Akua features an asteroid ring. Yeah, we know that. Sun. This is the sun flare effect. Environmental effect / sun flare white for space. So that's every time you pass or see the sun in your camera, that's the sun, the sun flare that you get. The stars, this is the skybox star cyan. It's a different color that you have in the back. And the nebula, I'm not entirely sure what this is. We'll have to take a look in game. But nebula prefab, nebula blue yellow. So whatever nebula that is, that's what it's placed. And it might be the gases in the space sector, so it'd be fun to play around with. There's a lot of nuances in 6.0 plus that I haven't messed with yet. These are the POIs, and as you can see here, this one is commented out, but you could use it if you wanted to. So we have a breakdown here. They've nicely provided this nice little description here. So we have type BA alien. It's an alien, it's not an admin, and it's a base. So prefab, base orbital, that's what the BAO means, _ Thermica - station. That's the file name or blueprint. Mode survival, it's either creative or survival. That's the game mode it shows up in. Name Thermica station. Now you can name this anything. This is just the name that is displayed to the player. Of course, the name of blueprint has displayed to player. Position. Now this is the position in space, much like on the sector files, how we told where the planets and the moons would be in the space file. This is where the POI would appear in the space file. So this is at negative 2800, 500, and a negative 2800. So rotation. Now this is something I have not gotten to work right, at least not the way I thought it should work. But again, experiment with it, play around with it. Rotation 0, negative 50, 0. And I'm not sure what these numbers apply to as far as rotation, but I'm guessing 0 is the like the 0 and the X and the Z is the galactic plane, and 50 would be a rotation on the x-axis, kind of like a turning on the flat surface. Initial power, true. Set if POI should be initially powered. Default is false. So if you want to add power to the base, like if you have a crashed ship or a wrecked ship, a derelict ship, you'd want to set the power to false. So we have the BA admin. This is again, got BA alien, BA admin. This is the trade station. So you have trade station orbit, TSO underscore Akua orbit. Mode survival, name is TSO Akua. That's your position and your rotation. So I'm looking at this and it has the same rotation, so that must have some kind of bearings on where it's at in the game. And we'll play around with that. We'll mess around with that and see if we can't get it to change. We'll put a bunch of space stations in a row, and we'll change that rotation a little bit and see just what changes. Now we have properties, so we can set the properties like the regen and all that here. So we got properties dash key music value nebular clouds. So when you're in that POI, it plays the song Nebular Clouds. Now these right here, this is a resource asteroid, and this is very important. So you have to use type asteroid voxel 101 Sathium, and that's the type of asteroid. It's also the name of the prefab. It's also the name of the blueprint, which asteroids do run blueprints, although it's not the same type of blueprint as you would a base or a ship. Name Sathium asteroid. I've changed this. I've played around with this. I've made booger asteroids. I've made if you've seen on mine and The Wolf's videos, Go Juice and Shiny. So I've played around with that, and this is the position in space here, and the rotation. Of course, I've noticed all the rotations for the asteroids are set to 0, so it's kind of interesting. Again, another voxel asteroid 102 Neodymium. Now you can take this part off and put Sathium, and it's the asteroid 102 Sathium. Or you can just leave it blank, which defaults to Sathium, and that was an issue we were running into before, where because before when in the early days of Empyrion, there was only Sathium asteroids, so there was only asteroid voxel 101, and Sathium was omitted, and that is still in the game. So when you don't put Sathium or Neodymium or Promethium at the end, it becomes Sathium. So, and here's our asteroid field ring. This is the big ring around Akua, and of course, it doesn't really have a prefab. It just has a name, asteroid field. It's a big default thing. You can put multiple of these in different positions and rotations. And they're fun to play around with. Now, again, I haven't gotten the rotation to work, and this is set to 0, 0, 0. I set 2 asteroid field rings right next to each other in different positions and tried to rotate them, and it didn't change. So, again, it's fun to experiment with, and please experiment with it to, get your own result that you want out of it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. So, fixed player start. Of course, that's only debug mode, and you can set that to creative or survival. Set that to survival, and you can actually have your character start off in space instead of on a planet. It's kind of interesting. This is the drone setup. We have the drone base at position 5,200, 5,000. And these are the drones that are around that ship. And then we got the space vessel freighter, mission freighter. So it follows the freighter movement, and it has a stock of plasma drones. We have another freighter, 2 freighters, and let's see, does this one have a stock? Yep, stock plasma drones, carrier, mission space patrol. So this one's flying around space, not just staying in one spot. Range, position 3D, radius. Stock has plasma drones, and we have the Thermica station, and that's fixed. That's immobile. It's a space station. It can't fly around anyways. There's no propulsion. So immobile position and the stock. So we have a mobile position, and then we have range patrol. So that's the main differences there. Now it's not a very large file, but it is very complicated. It's very precise. One little mess up can prevent your patrol ships from flying. It can prevent things from spawning in right, and it is very complicated. As you can see here, I mean, there's a lot of little intricate details that go into making these. Now these all have to be placed individually. This has to be placed and rotated, and it has to be the right type. If it's not the right type, it's not going to work. Like if you put BA alien, it's not going to show up as admin, and it's not going to spawn in right, regardless of what the core is on the prefab model. All right, that is the YAML. Let's go into EPD and take a look at it through there. All right, and here we are. This is EPD. This is Playfield Designer. If it looks different, it's because it's the newest version to me at the time. Always keep your Playfield Designer updated. It's well worth it. So let's load our Playfield here. Playfield. Let's go again. Space Field Ring Akua. We're going to use this as the main example here. And any changes we'll do, we'll save it in our own scenario. And we'll use our new file from the scenarios in our scenario game, the one that we've been working on here. So we have the space background music. We have planet type space. This we don't want to change. This we can change to anything, which is sunny skies, temperate. Let's leave it as space for now. Nebula style. Now this is the one that I wanted to play around with, and of course, as you can see, we have different nebula styles here. We've got blue glittery. So we got some changes here. Sun flare effect, and as you can see, there is a lot of options here too. Star style. We can go. We'll play around with that too. We'll change that. Resources is blank, and the biomes are blank because these are used for planets. The POIs, and again, and I'm going to enlarge this here. This is the set fixed POIs for the space field. As you can see up here too, this also has a space type. Of course, you can change it: moon, planet, sun. Well, I don't know why sun has a play field, but maybe for later expansions or updates. So we also have drones. We have the drone main base. This is the drone setup. And there's no creatures, so creatures are blank. So let's go to POIs. And just like when we were looking in the file, we have the prefab type. Mode is survival. Right here in the list, we have it set BA admin, because this is the TSO Akua. And we have the name. Now we can name this anything. TSO Akua. Yeah, we can name it Akua Blua. This is rotation, and again that -50 that kind of has me confused, but again, like I said, we'll play around with that. And we have our properties here, and we can add any kind of property key too. Map markers, we can add personal containers and regenerates. So because this is a admin base, we don't really need to add a regenerate, but we can add a player start to that. So let's hit OK on that. And this is the asteroid field. As you can see here, we got these to choose from. There's no prefab. Mode is none, because I mean it's always there. Name asteroid field, and this is the positioning. Now the positioning, we can put the position anywhere. We can set it, 9,000 units one way, 9,000 units the other way. we can have two that intersect in the middle of the planet, kind of creating a figure eight. One thing I haven't been able to do is to tip it on its side or to tilt it on an axis. I kind of wanted to make a like an atom kind of thing where we had the two tilted diagonal asteroid rings around the planet, and it wouldn't let me do that no matter how many times I changed the rotation. So, and here they added a new feature: is to import their player's current position from the game. So if you have the mod set up, now I don't have the mod set up yet, but if you have the mod set up to where you can access that and actually have the game active while you're editing the active playfield, that's where you would do it there. So let's go ahead and cancel. Drone base, let's take a look at this. And as you can see, we have the freighters and we have the drones on duty of the main base. Space vessels, same thing as in the YAML file, and of course everything needs to be assigned, and this is where a lot of the complication comes in too. You can't just simply place a POI without also adding it here in the space vessels, even if it's a base. So let's start editing our playfield here. Now we want to set up a playfield around we can do it around George, and we can also do it around the Rediculas planet. So we go to WTF, playfields. Okay, and we only have WTF, so we need to actually create a new playfield there. So let's go into the WTF folder and do so. Alright, here we are in the WTF folder, and we can go to playfields. Let's create another folder here. Let's call it space WTF. Let's do this better here. Let's do space WTF sector. Filing some sort of naming convention here. With no spaces, of course. And this is blank, so this is where we want to save our playfield after we edit it, here in EPD. Now, of course, in the drone base file, you don't see the asteroids. We don't have to declare the asteroids in here, but we do have to declare the space stations and that. And as you can see, there's no POI properties, although we can add some. Let's see what the... Oh, it's not giving me the option. Okay. And we can add stock drones as well. We'll cancel out of that. Cancel out of that. Let's do POI because we want to test something out with the space bases and see just what kind of effect the rotation has. So we need to make note of the position here and actually create just put the next one down a little bit lower, but rotate it a little bit differently. And instead of naming this blue, let's name this Tiesakua 1. And we'll name the other one Tiesakua 2. Let's hit OK. And let's add base admin. Prefabs, let's do Tiesakua 2. Or Tiesakua. TSP, that must be planet, so let's go TSO orbit. Model or mode, let's do survival. Outpost Akua 2. We want TSO Akua 2, so TSO Akua 2. The rotation, let's do 0. And see our position. Let's get the position of the other one here and say OK. Let's go back to the other one. And instead of putting it right next to each other, we'll put them up and down from each other. So instead of 2000, we'll put it at like, I don't know, 150. or 1500. So let's hit cancel. Let's go back here. And let's do negative 4400. Let's do 1500. Oh. Let's do negative 250. So there we go. The rotation we set to 0. Properties add. Structure music. Let's put Barren Moon. Let's add another TSO Akua. See if I can select the T's. Yep. TSO Akua. Survival. TSO Akua. Number 3. And the position, negative 4400. 1000. So we're going down by 500 units. Negative 250. Rotation, let's do the first rotation. Let's do negative 50 on the first rotation. Let's see what that does. Initially powered, yes. Okay. Let's see if we got this initially powered. No, we don't. There we go. And let's do a fourth one. Where do we put this one at? 1000. So the next one will be at 500. See, add. Base admin. Prefabs TSO Akua. No, that's TSP Akua. Let's do TSO Akua. Mode survival, outpost Akua, TSO Akua 4 at negative 4400. Let's do this one at 500 and negative 250. Rotation, let's do the last rotation and set that one to negative 50. Let's see what that does. Initially powered, yes. Okay, let's save the playfield. Got to go to content. Let's go to scenarios, WTF, playfields, space WTF sector, and save there. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. EPD playfield data, playfield clean nulls. Not sure what that means. Alright, and before we can load into the game, we have to set that playfield in our sectors file. So let's go to scenarios, WTF, and sectors. So we can load our sector file here. And because we have Space Asteroid Field Ring, we need to change that to our new playfield. Let's go to playfields, and let's go ahead and copy this name, copy, and place it in our sector folder. So Ridiculous Orbit, we want to set that to, boom, space WTF sector, and we can also do that here for George as well. So there we go. Hit save, and let's load the game. Alright, nothing catastrophic yet, so as you can see we have our bunch of Akua orbital stations. Alright, now this is the default. This is the one at negative 50, Akua 1. As you can see, it's kind of rotated from the planet. Let's go down. Now this one's straight on to the planet. This one's set to 0. This one's tilted. Okay, so this is what the negative 50 does. On the first number, it tilts it that way. Let's go down to the next one. Alright, this one tilts it forward. Alright. So now we have some kind of reference point on what those numbers mean and what they mean as far as the relationship to the placement of these files or these blueprints. Whoa! And of course, there's our Akua ring and our sun flare, which is the white sun flare. We have cyan stars, and I'm not sure if that means like the distant stars. And then the nebula here. So we'll play around with these files, and we'll see. We'll change these up here, see what kind of different effects that they have. So back to the EPD editor. All right, back here to the Playfield Designer, and as you can see here, of course, now we know what the relationship is here. That tilts it from one side to the other. So I'm guessing that this is X, Y, and Z. So if you were to draw a line through the X coordinate through the station and then rotate it on that, that's where you get this one. If you draw a line through the Y, which is straight up and down through the top, and then rotate it, that's the rotation you get there. And this is from the Z. So X and Z cross on a flat plane where Y comes up and down. This one rotates on the Z. So now we understand that. Now let's see what we can do with the general characteristics. So let's change the nebula. Let's see what this does if I go red 2. This seems kind of interesting. Let's save this and go from here. Yes. And we got the error again, but it doesn't seem to matter. Alright, back in space here, and as you can see, this is the red 2 nebula. I'm not sure exactly what the cyan stars are, unless that's that bluish color that we still get in the backdrop here. Then again, it kind of mixes with everything else. This is kind of, I really like this. This looks pretty cool, the red and the blue contrast. Let's change the stars. Let's see what changing the stars is. And I'm thinking it might be that gas that I'm moving through here. And as you can see, that gas, I mean, it kind of looks like it's in the background, but it's not. The background is just red. So let's change the stars to blue, and let's change it from blue, and see what happens. All right, back into EPD. We have star style cyan. So let's change it to purple. Let's see what purple does here. We'll go ahead and save the playfield. Load back into the game. All right, back into the game here, and this is why we experiment, is to test and check things out. Now, I'm not seeing purple here. I'm seeing the same bluish clouds that we get normally when we enter the space sector. I am not seeing purple stars. So I'm not entirely sure what effect that's changing. If it's changing any kind of effect. So this is why we experiment, is to see and to check, make sure things are changing and what they change. And this one apparently doesn't change much of anything at all. So we'll have to come back to that and see if we can get it to do something different. So, ooh, is that a freighter? All right, back in EPD here, and let's see. Let's try the blue, pink, purple. Ooh, I like that one. Let's try that one. Star style. Change this to green. Green's a lot more noticeable. So if something does change, we'll actually be able to see it. And let's see. Let's change the flare effect to. Let's try red space. This is kind of interesting. Is there anything else we can change here? Radiation, that's self-explanatory. And we could bump this up to 10. Temperature, kind of in a nice 25. Yeah, like a vacation spot. Alright, let's save this and enter the game. This is our new nebula pick here, which I think is kind of cool. You can see the space clouds really aren't affecting it too much. The swirls of the pink, the blue. I like this one. Now, one thing we've done is we've changed our sun into a red giant. Look at that. So that's the red solar flare there. Pretty cool. And I'm not noticing any change with the stars. Of course, we picked green this time, and it's not really changing. So, something's kind of funky with that. But, regardless, here we go. Now let's change up the scenery a little bit. This ring is cool, but let's add more. Let's make this look uninviting. Oh, also our temperature and our radiation has changed. 25 degrees Celsius and 10 rads, and that was the exact numbers that I had put in to the to EPD. So there you go, self-explanatory. All right, back in EPD now. Of course, the description says Akua. We don't want it that. So let's see. You don't want to know. I was told once, and trust me, you don't want to know. That's the description for our space sector. Now let's go to the POIs. And we have this asteroid field, which is the asteroid field ring. Now we could change this up a bit. Let's see what options we have here. Asteroid field box, asteroid field, asteroid field rectangle 2. Let's try asteroid field. Let's see what that does. All right, back in the space here, and that is the standard asteroid field. That does kind of look cool. Kind of looks like a cloud around a ruinous planet. It's not too bad. And of course, we could place this off to the side too, away from the planet, kind of like on the Omicron Playfield sector. All in all, this doesn't look too bad. But let's see what else we can do here. All right, back in EPD, let's go back to asteroid field here, and let's change it to asteroid field box include. Now, I'm not entirely sure what this is, so this is a learning experience for me as well. So let's hit OK, and let's save it. All right, back in space here, and as you can see, what changed was now we kind of got this chunky mess of asteroids just kind of hanging out here around the planet. That's a pretty big box of just chunky asteroids everywhere. So this isn't necessarily... Ooh, hey, there's one of our resource asteroids. There we go. So this is one of the positions. One thing we can do too, if we want to place something here in the file and we want a specific position, we can always go into the map, and right up here it tells us the position that we're at. So if I want to place something at this position, I just simply make note of this right here of the X, Y, and Z coordinate, and then in the game when I place the object, just place it there at that spot. So let's change this up for now, and then we'll see each and every asteroid field and see what they look like. So that way we can pick and choose and intermix. We can intermix these. We can stack rings. It's pretty cool. All right, so that's the asteroid field box exclude. So let's try the asteroid field few box exclude and see what difference that makes. Alright, from the looks of it, it looks like it's the same as before, just with less, which is pretty much what the name suggested. So it's not a really big surprise to me, just what we ended up with here. Let's try the next one. Alright, let's change this from at the view box exclude to the asteroid field rectangle. Let's see what that does. Asteroid field rectangle, okay. Alright, meet you back in space. Yeah, this one's a little bit bigger than just the standard asteroid field, so this one looks pretty cool. It's pretty in depth. Of course, we have the planet in the way, but this one looks like more like the asteroid field in the default game, default scenario. So it's just not very thick. But I think we can change that as well by adding more and layering them. Or we can add an asteroid field on top, asteroid field on bottom. So that way you kind of have a tapering effect. So there we go. All right, let's change this up and let's see what else is next. So, the only thing we have left is the asteroid field ring, and we've already seen that. So that's the different asteroid fields. And let's see if we can mix and match some of these here. Let's do the asteroid ring, and that one's at 0, 0, 0. We'll hit OK, but we'll see. Let's add another one. We'll do asteroid field ring 0, 0, 0. This one, asteroid. Probably spelled field wrong. Field. Nope, that's Feld. Field 2. Position. Let's put this one up 100 higher than the other one. And prefab is none. Do we have a none? Huh, we can't put a null value in here. So we may have to edit this in the YAML. That's fine. Sometimes some of this kind of stuff is best done in the YAML, especially with the asteroid rings and all that. As you can see, it changed a little bit because of EPD, but that's fine. We know what we're looking at here, and this is the asteroid field 2, and this doesn't have a prefab. It's just like the other asteroid field. It's just asteroid field ring. Prefab is null. And let's see. So let's go to prefab here. There we go. Just like the other file for the asteroid ring. Where'd it go? Yep, just like this right here. We did that down here. Same thing. And we just upped it by 100. Now we can also take this asteroid field ring here, copy, and paste another one. Let's do this one at a negative 100, and let's call this asteroid field ring 3. So there we go. Let's go ahead and save this and see what kind of damage we did to the file. Wow, guys, this is crazy. Maybe you should have separated these just a little bit more than just 100, because that just looks weird. So apparently we definitely have them overlapping, but I mean, I kind of like this. This is kind of cool. Kind of a different effect here, but not quite what I was going for. So let's go back to the file. Probably best edit this in the YAML. And all we got to do is just increase the space. Probably do them by 1,000 each. I kind of want to do something different too. I'm going to try and make a figure 8. Okay, back in the YAML file. And let's increase these by 1,000. So that way we don't have that overlapping problem. And I want to take the original asteroid field ring and let's position this at 5,000 one way. Let me copy this here. Copy and paste. Let's do asteroid field ring 4, and this one's going to be at a negative 5,000. Let's see if we can't create that like figure 8 kind of thing here with the 2 asteroid field rings, one on top, one on bottom, and then the figure 8 in the middle. So let's see if this works. Save. All right, so it looks like we did kind of achieve what I was going for, although the 2 asteroid fields above and below, I kind of wanted them spaced out a little bit further. But as you can see, the two rings kind of converge here in the middle, creating a thicker asteroid band through the planet, and then they go out and around. And I think we can actually move the rings out just a little bit further, maybe to about 6,000 or 5,500. We'll probably do 5,500. But yeah, we kind of got that figure 8 thing going on. And then we have the 2 that sandwich. Let's go down here on the galactic plane just a bit here. Kind of looks like a weird Oreo. Yeah, we still have our Resource Asteroid just kind of hanging out here on where the belt used to be. Alright, I'll make some final tweaks, and let's see, we can move some Resource Asteroids. Why don't we... set Resource Asteroid right here. Grab the coordinate numbers here. We're at 351, 19, 3302. Alright. Got that coordinate, and let's place a Resource Asteroid. Let's place a Pentaxid. Why not? Alright, back here in the YAML file, and let's see, 5,000, let's do 5,500 on these. So that way, they're not overlapping as bad. And let's take these ones up. We can take these up quite a bit. Let's go 6,000. Whoa, not 6. There we go. Alright, let's save this. Let's go back into EPD. Let's reload the Playfield. So we've made some changes outside of EPD, and the EPD won't recognize them. And as you can see, now we have the prefab none, mode none, and the asteroid field, so that's all set. Let's add our Resource Asteroid. Let's see the Pentaxid. Let's go add. Let's do Asteroid Model 1 Pentaxid. So it doesn't look like we have any other Pentaxid to mess around with. Huh, that's weird. It's only one Pentaxid, so we'll use that. Prefab is Asteroid Voxel 1 Pentaxid. Mode is, of course, survival. Actually, I think we can do none there. And name is, let's name it Warped Rock. And the position, of course, is the one that we pulled off the map. So we got 351, 19, and 3302. And rotation, we'll just hit we'll do 0 on the rotation. Let's add a regenerative key. So let's go key regenerate after, we'll do it after 1 minute. That's a crazy short time, but it's a crazy planet. It's a crazy sector, so we don't need to initially power it because it's a rock. Hit OK. Alright, back in space. Let's see how this looks. Alright, so we have our one asteroid field ring down there, quite a ways. We got another one up there. Almost looks like the Green Lantern ring, if you look at it. That one there. The Green Lantern symbol there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you backed all the way out and you looked at it, it kind of looked like that. I wasn't thinking about that when I did it, but it's kind of interesting now. I'm thinking about it. Let's go down here. And our asteroid rings, they do meet up pretty well. It's kind of the width of the planet. So that's good. Oh, and there's our warped rock. Let's see if we got the coordinates right. Kind of... Oh, because we moved the asteroid field, of course, now we got an asteroid clipping into it. So we'll have to probably move this up just a bit. But if we go into our map, we can see we're pretty much right where we set it. So we got 335, 90, 3366, and initially I set it at 351, 19, 3302. So if we go actually inside this asteroid, which we can, we'll have generally that map coordinate. So, or if you really want to get technical, we can go into debug mode and actually go and warp to those exact coordinates. 351, 19, 3302. Whoop, 02. And boom. Doesn't snap us very far. And we're just inside that asteroid. That's just really all. Oh, no, we're underneath it. Oh! Okay, that explains it. So where this dot is right here is the coordinate that it placed it at, but the blueprint is offset a bit. So there we go. Now we know. And we can set this now to this map coordinate, so that way it's not clipping into any rocks at 203, 59, 3396. So that way we're avoiding some collisions, some weird things, because you can't mine through the set asteroids out of the ring. So if part of your resource asteroid is inside one of the dummy asteroids, you can't mine it. So let's set that to the new coordinates and go from there. All right, back here in EPD, let's go into our warped rock and change it from that to 203. Do 59 and 3396, and there we go. That should fix that problem there. All right, back in space here. So let's go into debug mode. Let's go check on that asteroid here. Let's go to the coordinates that we set, which is 203. 59, 3396. Let's go back to those coordinates and see. All right. Oh, got an asteroid above us. Boom, look at that. And it's away from any of the other collisions, so that way we can mine this asteroid without having to worry too much about clipping into one of these. Those you cannot mine. So if I go into item menu, oops, item menu, there we go. Give myself a drill. And I'll take the hand drill. Go to mine one of these. See, you can't dig here. So if it clipped into this, which we can mine, then we wouldn't be able to mine out some of the resources or the rock that this thing provides. And I set this to respawn after, or regenerate after 1 minute. So all I gotta do is, I'll dig a noticeable hole here, and then I'll back out, and we'll watch it regenerate. That's a very noticeable hole. Let's back up here a bit and watch it regenerate. Got to get about 200 meters away from it. And let's watch. Actually, let me get into... grab the debug gun. That way we can... Oh! It's already respawned. Wasn't that spiffy. Did it before I could even... Well, I mean, it's pretty quick, so... For test purposes, it's good. I probably wouldn't keep that in-game, because a minute reset is really quick. And really exploitable. Alright, there we go. That's a rundown on the space sectors. Of course, if you want to add drones, or drone bases, you have to also add them here, along with being in... Oops, cancel. Being also in the POI, so if you want to add a drone base, like a fixed base, you have to add it here, and also put it in here. So let's go ahead and add base alien. We'll do a base orbit. Yeah, there we go. Do the Thermica station, mode survival, Thermica station, and let's put the position just over our asteroid by like 1,000. And it was at 3396. Let's give it a really crazy rotation here. Initially powered. Set that to 0. You know what, let's set this to 2000. Hit OK. Now we got to go into the drones, go into the drone main base. Alright, so we have the Thermica station here, set to a mobile. Thermica station. We should be set there. I'm not entirely sure what this is, but let's just see. It's 5,200, 5,000. We can just go to that spot. Hit OK. And save it. Alright, back in space. And let's go to our Thermica station. So let me enable debug mode here. Hit escape. And go to coordinates 203. And we set that, what, to 2,000? And 3396. Yeah, let's see what we're looking at here. Oh, and there's the Thermica station, staring me right in the face. And they're going to be blasting me here too. Yep, see? And we have it tipped at a crazy angle. Remember how I set it to 90 degrees? And it's tipped on its side. So there we go. That's how you place objects in space and have the enemy bases in space as well. And again, the best thing to do is just play around with these settings. That's the best way to learn and to really create some crazy things. So, alright guys, that should do it for this tutorial. And if you like what I'm doing here, go ahead and like, subscribe, upvote, and follow. And please check out my my Patreon, along with my my GoFundMe, whatever project you want to support. Of course, the GoFundMe is the printer project. So supporters there will also will help me build the 3D printing setup and the recording of the prints, and also have so I can print models from the games, ships, bases, that kind of stuff that you create. And the Patreon just it allows me to keep doing what I'm doing. Eventually, I'd like to not even have to worry about the monetization on YouTube, thanks to the wonderful stuff that's going on in YouTube, and their trigger happy for demonetization of stuff they don't agree with. So, and anytime I take YouTube off, which I'm pretty sure I'm not on their happy list at the moment, they could demonetize my videos, and then I wouldn't get any revenue from that as well, which I don't get much anyways. So, I mean, Patreon, if you guys want to help with $1, if you can't help with $1 a month, that would be awesome. If not, share it on your social medias, and who knows? Maybe somebody else will like it and has that extra dollar for coffee or whatever that they want to toss my way. So, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and safe journeys. There's one more tutorial after this, and we should be good. That should be all the information you guys need to build and create your own universes in Empyrion. The next one will be, of course, customized POIs. So, see you then.